Today we're taking a look at these MLB matches, which are happening on Sunday, July 17, 2022, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. Multiple plans are available for each and every one of you. You can get 30 extra betting picks all the way up to 360 extra betting picks per month. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting picks that ends up costing you a lot of money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks. Going back to our video, we will give you 2 betting picks for each game, a team pick and a total pick based on facts and detailed explanation. So make sure to watch our videos till the end so you don't miss any of our picks. Toronto Blue Jays vs Kansas City Royals. Our team pick is Toronto minus 1.5 runs. And here is why. Kansas City has been one of the most talked about teams in the MLB over the last few days, despite being one of the worst teams in the majors. The discussion has been due to the host of unvaccinated players on the roster, forcing the Royals to put together a makeshift lineup due to Toronto's COVID-19 restrictions. Kansas City overcame that hurdle in a 3-1 upset on Thursday, but it came up short in an 8-1 final on Friday. The Royals were in last place in the American League Central heading into Saturday's slate, trailing Minnesota by 12 games. They are 11.5 games back of the final AL wildcard spot. Toronto has been an extremely streaky team this season, going on an 8-game winning streak at the end of May, before playing around the .500 mark for most of June. The Blue Jays really struggled to open July, losing 9 games in a 10-game stretch. They have started to pick things up again since then, winning 3 out of 4 games heading into Saturday's contest. Toronto's lone loss during that period was a shocking upset loss on Thursday as a huge favorite. The Blue Jays are in 3rd place in the AL East, trailing New York by 14.5 games. They are tied with Boston for the final AL wildcard spot. I think Friday night's game showed where these teams should be at to wrap up this series. Toronto cannot afford to lose any more ground in the AL wildcard standings as it went through a rough patch earlier this month. Meanwhile, Kansas City is going to be more interested in getting out of town and hitting the All-Star break. The Royals were able to spring their big upset on Thursday, but they do not have enough firepower to deal with Toronto over the course of a weekend. They are without most of their key players due to COVID-19 restrictions, which does not help a team that has already been struggling. Toronto has won 5 of its last 6 home games against Kansas City. Our total pick is over. And here is why. I think Friday night's game showed where these teams should be at to wrap up this series. Toronto cannot afford to lose any more ground in the AL wildcard standings as it went through a rough patch earlier this month. Meanwhile, Kansas City is going to be more interested in getting out of town and hitting the All-Star break. The Royals were able to spring their big upset on Thursday, but they do not have enough firepower to deal with Toronto over the course of a weekend. They are without most of their key players due to COVID-19 restrictions, which does not help a team that has already been struggling. Toronto has won 5 of its last 6 home games against Kansas City. Washington Nationals vs Atlanta Braves. Our team pick is Atlanta Braves minus 1.5 runs. And here is why. The Atlanta Braves won their 8th straight head-to-head game against the Nationals on Friday. The Braves led 6-0 after 5 innings and cruised WTH the Nationals, adding 3 meaningless runs in the bottom of the 9th. Orlin Arcia, Adam Duvall, and Austin Riley all homered in the victory. Riley now leads the Braves with 26 home runs and 60 RBI, placing him in the top 10 in MLB. The Braves are now 32-10 since June 1, 3.5 games better than any other team. Heading into Saturday's action, the Braves trailed the Mets by 2 games and have the best record of any second-place team in MLB. The Washington Nationals lost their 8th straight game on Friday and for the 13th time out of their last 14. If there's any silver lining, 5 of the last 9 losses have only come by 1 run. Expect the Nationals to be sellers at the trade deadline, as there are contenders who could use the services of Josh Bell, 13 HR, 48 RBI, and Nelson Cruz, 8 HR, 48 RBI. Juan Soto, 19 HR, 42 RBI, also could now be open for business. If that happens, the second half of the season could even be worse in the nation's capital. I don't know who the Nationals will start on Sunday, and frankly, I don't care. At some point, Washington will win again because they can't keep losing forever, but until then, this team is a fade as they are just 13-44 in their last 57 games against a team with a winning record. The Washington defense and pitching are terrible, and their star offensive player doesn't even want to stick around for $440 million. The Braves have dominated the Nationals this season and dominated the league since June. They also will be starting Spencer Strider, who has a 0.79 ERA over his last 4 starts. Take the Braves on the run line to beat the Nationals. Our total pick is over 9.5 runs. And here is why. The Nationals lineup has been awful this season, making it easy to think that the upcoming game will be a low-scoring one. However, the Braves have been carried by their batting order, and both teams look to step up at the plate and drive in runs throughout the game. The Nationals should plate base runners throughout the game with Juan Soto, Josh Bell, and the rest of the lineup making contact and driving the ball against Spencer Strider. The Braves, who average 4.75 runs per game, should run up a score with Austin Riley, Dandy Swanson, Matt Olson, and the rest of the lineup swinging for the fences and powering the ball against the Nationals pitchers to drive in runs at will. New York Yankees vs Boston Red Sox. Our team pick is New York Yankees for the win. And here is why. Boston got off to a slow start this season, going 14-22 through the middle of May. The Red Sox responded with a 6-game winning streak and then added a pair of 7-game winning streaks in June. They have struggled with consistency in July, though, losing 10 out of their first 15 games. Surprisingly, 3 of those 5 wins have come against New York. The Red Sox were swept in a 4-game series at Tampa Bay earlier this week before snapping that skid with a 5-4 win in 11 innings on Friday. They are in 4th place in the AL East, trailing the Yankees by 14.5 games. However, they are tied with Toronto for the final AL wildcard spot. New York fans are extremely disappointed by their team's recent stretch of play, which says a lot about how dominant the Yankees have been this season. They have not lost more than 3 consecutive games at any point. However, New York had lost 5 of its last 6 games heading into Saturday's game. The Yankees dropped the final 2 games of their series at Boston last weekend before losing 2 out of 3 against Cincinnati. They had played 3 straight extra inning games heading into Saturday's contest. New York still has the best record in the MLB, but its lead over Houston has been trimmed to 3.5 games. I expect New York to come out motivated to end the season on a high note. The Yankees have been excellent at bouncing back from any of the disappointing stretches that they have played this season, which have been few and far between. Cole is also motivated to bounce back after struggling against Boston 2 starts ago. He is coming off 7 shutout frames after that performance, so he will be confident entering his final start before the All-Star break. Boston has only picked up 2 wins in its last 9 trips to Yankee Stadium. Sale is making just his 2nd start of the year. This is not a team that you want to face while you are trying to get into a rhythm. Our total pick is over 8. And here is why. This is a tough line given that 2 elite studs will be towing the rubber. However, both offenses are loaded. The Yankees rank number 1 in scoring, while the Sox rank number 7. Sale still has more to prove after just 1 start. While the early returns were really encouraging, it remains to be seen how much leash he will get here. New York's bats have remained hot even as their pitching has taken a slight dip over the last 10 games. The over is 9-1 during that stretch. Jarrett Cole ranks among the most dominating arms in the game, but has had some struggles with Boston, especially Rafael Devers. Don't be surprised if the Sox take him deep at least once or twice here. Don't expect either starter to get lit up, but at just 8 runs this doesn't have to be a slugfest for the over to hit.